Three elite Roman legions marched into these woods. 20,000 battle-hardened soldiers, the absolute pride of the world's greatest superpower. They believed they were invincible. They believed Rome owned the earth. But within 3 days, every single one of them was slaughtered. Their bodies were left to rot, and their golden eagle standards were stolen. When the news reached Rome, the emperor battered his head against the palace walls, screaming in the dark, "Give me back my legions." This was not just a military defeat. This was the first terrifying crack in an empire that thought it was immortal. How did the greatest civilization in human history, built on blood, concrete, and absolute power, vanish from the face of the earth? Before it was a massive empire, Rome was a republic ruled by laws, not kings. They hated tyrants so much that they swore a sacred blood oath. Any man who tried to become king would be executed without trial. But Rome grew too big, too wealthy, and too corrupt. The gap between the ultra-rich elites and the starving poor widened into a canyon. The system was rotting from the inside. The people wanted a savior, someone to tear down the corrupt establishment. And in the shadows of the Senate, a brilliant, ruthless general was waiting for his moment. His name was Julius Caesar. In the freezing winter of 49 BC, Caesar stood at the banks of the Rubicon River. To cross this river with an army was treason, an automatic death sentence. If he stayed, his political enemies would destroy him. If he crossed, he would plunge Rome into a catastrophic civil war. Caesar looked into the dark water, made his choice, and uttered the famous words, "The die is cast." He crossed. The Republic was dead. Caesar marched into Rome, declared himself dictator for life, and took absolute control. But his absolute power lasted only 5 years. On the Ides of March, inside the Senate itself, his closest friends pulled out hidden daggers. 23 stab wounds ended his life. But the blood spill did not save the Republic. Out of the ashes of Caesar's death, the Roman Empire was born. For 2 centuries, the new empire entered a golden age. They built giant aqueducts, massive paved roads, and spectacular monuments like the Colosseum. They kept the restless, hungry public quiet with a simple, sinister formula: bread and games. Free food and violent gladiator matches to distract the masses from their loss of freedom. Rome felt unstoppable, stretching from the deserts of Africa to the rainy hills of Scotland. But behind the grand stone walls, a silent poison was spreading. The economy began to collapse. To pay for endless wars and lavish palaces, emperors secretly reduced the silver content in Rome's coins, making their money completely worthless. Hyperinflation hit, trade stopped, and the massive borders became impossible to defend. By the 5th century, Rome was a hollow shell. The once mighty legions were gone, replaced